Okay, let's give me 1 second. Make sure everybody gets on. I need to get on. I hope everybody's having a good day. Man, it's so hot. But good news is, the Weather Channel says it's going to rain in the next few days, and it's going to lower the temperature to, what is it, 101 right now, all the way to 87. That's going to be a nice little temperature change. But um, uh, I hate when holidays fall on like a weird day, like a Thursday or Tuesday. You know what I mean? And at least Wednesday's a hump day. You know what I mean? It's weird because like people have to go back to work tomorrow. You know what I mean? But okay. See, there's one watching. Let's give it a little bit longer. Uh, you know, it's amazing that um, I've been doing this doing the videos that you guys see for like 3 years, and I've only been doing the live here. Here, I've only been doing live for about a week, and people want to feel like they're part of your life. You know what I mean. So, but anyway, okay, let's get started here. All right. My name is Daryl Phillips, owner of War Project Gaming. What we do here is listen to you talk. Like, subscribe, share, follow. All the links are below, especially the ingredients and the steps. Carry your ingredients and follow the steps. The links to those videos are below. Give them a watch. I'm actually in the middle of redoing those videos, so y'all will get the updated versions within the next 5 months. So I'll be releasing them every 2 weeks. So today is 4th of July, so I will address that first. I hope everybody's having a good Independence Day. Let me take this off. Um, I know that the words are cheesy because it's through OBS. I got plans to do this through After Effects and stuff like that, so that'll get better. Like I said, I've been doing this live thing for YouTube for a week. Lives are different than regular videos, so there's no cutting and editing. That's why, if I have to have self-control about the rambling thing. Okay, I try not to ramble, but like yesterday, Sophia came over early, and it's like it throws me off completely. But anyway, that was a way too long video. I apologize, guys. So check this out. Hey, what's up, Denise? So today is 4th of July, Independence Day for the United States, and that's probably not much of anything for other countries, but it's a lot for us. It's celebrating our birthday, even though sometimes my country makes it really hard for me to celebrate its birthday because it's just some frustrating things that go on in this country that I don't agree with, and I wish. Hey, what's up, Lori? So it's it makes it really hard to celebrate a country sometimes that abuses people and so forth and so on. So, but we should remember where we came from. It's a very amazing story. Americans, the story of the United States and the Revolution and so forth and so on. I just make sure that y'all are not drinking and driving. Okay, don't be stupid, please. The bar is called Uber or Lyft. If you don't have a ride, you know what I mean. There's no reason to put other people in danger or yourself. So sometimes, I will sit here and I will try to think of subject matters, and I think of this or I get questions and so forth and so on. In this case, sometimes things come up where it has to be talked about because it's just something that's so human and so right there in your face because it will happen to everybody. And that's the subject of death. The reason why this subject is coming up on Independence Day has nothing to do with my country. I was actually just going to talk about my country and the history of my country and things like that, and interesting stories. They can be inspirational, but in this case, I think this is important because Sophia And if you guys don't know who Sophia is, she's my best friend. She's the one who saved my life. We were roommates. We were best friends. No, well, it's not like that. But she saved my life. And she found out some pretty bad news today. And without going into detail, she might be experiencing a very close death to her. And the way she responded today was amazing. It was no less than amazing. And she had the correct response. She had tears in her eyes, personal response, and but she had the correct perspective. Now, you say, Daryl, what's the correct perspective? Well, that's the hard part. You know, I lost my mother, and I lost my sister. But the first real death that I ever experienced that hit me hard was when I was 16 years old. And that was a friend by the name of Jim Boggs. And I was starting to have my problems with my stuff before I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And he was a preacher for the Webster Church of Christ. And he would try to help me, and I would go over to his house. He was one of the coolest. Let me describe this man. This man who was probably 5'3", short little guy, big though. He was fat. My mom used to joke around and say he, when he passes away, he'll have to be buried in a washer box. He was as tall as a washer, but as big as a washer. And him and his wife have one of the most romantic love stories that I've ever seen. Did you know that they met through pen pals, and they had never seen each other till the day they got married? They fell in love through letters. It's amazing. And anyway, my parents had won a trip to the Pro Bowl. And the last thing Jim said was that he couldn't wait to see my mom's pictures of the whales and stuff from Hawaii. Okay? And just a little more background real quick before I get to this. This guy and his wife were, you know, they went to my state solo ensemble when I went to state for singing with my friend Stephanie. My parents, Jacqueline, kind of whined and moaned. My sister Jacqueline kind of whined and moaned about, well, you don't ever go to my basketball games. So my parents had to go split their duties as parents, and so they didn't go to my state solo ensemble. I was very upset about that. And so they went for me. That's the kind of person this guy was. And his wife. Well, he makes that statement about seeing my mom's videos. And my mom and dad were gone. We're going to be gone for about a week. Okay. He never got to see those videos. On that Sunday, the first Sunday there, he was he had this need, is it almost an obsession, to go home after he had got done with his sermon. And his home was Missouri. And he had this obsession. It was just, he had to go home to go see his family. Okay? His wife thought it was really weird, but whatever, right? Man wants to see his family. Man wants to see his family. His wife's being a good wife. They went down there, and on the way down, his legs started hurting, and he got diagnosed. He got told he had blood clots. Then he got told something else. He got told that he had pancreatic cancer, They gave him 6 months. I never saw him again. He lasted 3 days. He had a stroke so severe that when he died, he did not recognize his own wife. That was devastating to me. That was my first real taste of death. And it hit me hard. And of course, I didn't know I had bipolar disorder, and so I never talked about it. Didn't cry over it. And this part's important because this is how some people deal with their people passing away. So I didn't talk about it. Well, anyway, there was a VBS. In case you guys, in case people who not church people don't know what that is, it's a vacation Bible school. I always love to go into those things, but this one happened to be in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and the closer I got to this VBS, the more irritated I got. And the more irritated I got. More and more. Then I started talking back to my parents. I started being a real dick. And my mom and dad started getting mad at me, right? Like, what the hell? You don't talk to us like that. And I couldn't help it. Like, it just came, I was snapping on. And then my dad was like about 6 seconds from pulling off on the side of the road and saying, Daryl, you're about to be real embarrassed at your age. Because you're about to get a spanking. My mom touched my dad's shoulder and said, Jackie. Because I was upset. I was pinned up. It was inside me. I was like, and tears started coming out of my eyes. And I didn't even know that was happening. And then it dawned on my mom that the last place that Eau Claire was the place where the Soul Ensemble had happened, and Jim Boggs and his wife, that's the last time I really spent time with them. Do you see that? See what happened there? Now, clearly I had psych issues, so but you see my point. That sometimes people, when you think that they've dealt with it, in reality they haven't. If they haven't talked about it, because you have to talk about it. You know, when something like that happens, you don't have to talk about it right away. People mourn as fast or slow as you want to. My friend Lori, across the hall, sent me a message yesterday, and I couldn't help her. Anna was over, and I'm helping Anna. And it's been about a year since her death, since the death of her friend. And she was having a hard time yesterday, but I remember, be understanding, I can't be two places at once. And so and then before there's my mother, my sister, that stuff. But I've known people to lose other people, and then there's been famous people that have died that I have really looked up to. That it's like, oh wow, they're dead. So sometimes death, it depends on how close you are. Clearly, you're going to be more affected by something from your family or your friend. But I was thinking about myself, with this situation with Sophia, because there's a possibility she could be emergency go up to Minnesota, and I was thinking about, I deal with death a lot better now, like way better. But there really is a correct perspective to look at it, and there's a timing about it. You would never go up to a funeral and say, okay, You would never go up into a funeral and tell a bunch of people, "Hey guys, they're dead. Get over it." Excuse me? You're gonna have none of them friends no more. No, that's not it. And nor should that be your perspective. But it's sort of true. Once a person has passed away, they are not in pain anymore. We humans are strange. And we don't mean to be like this. It's not, we don't look at it as being selfish. Because I want my mom alive. I literally just had this conversation with Anna. I want my mother alive. And there's some people right now that are worried about me. There's genuine worry about Daryl. And that's actually, I had this conversation this morning before this whole thing happened with Sophia today. And I had to have a conversation with Anna and then also Sophia after this, and let them know that I understand that everyone's worried about me. And Sophia's father, which is who the person is, Sophia's father has the correct perspective. I'm sorry to say this to people that have relatives that are either possibly going to pass away or know that, or already passed away. The way I choose, not only killing myself, but if I've accepted the situation, you need to, because it's going to happen regardless if you like it or not. You're not going to prevent this from happening. My mother, when I guess this is the story, because as I said, at the time I didn't know the whole story. My mother, at some point there, accepted her fate. The family didn't. The family was absolutely devastated. Most families are. But at some point there, my mom had beat the first cancer. Yeah. For any of y'all don't know that, my mom had 4 cancers total. The first cancer she beat, actually. And because of my situation at the time, there's a lot of confusing information, so I didn't understand the whole thing that happened. I just thought it was just all weird. I never had gotten the full information about how my mother, what happened with that whole thing. Well, Christy very nicely told me what happened last year. And it's an amazing story and sad in reality. Not from my mother's perspective, though. And that's the craziest part. It's not from my mother's perspective. From the family's perspective, it's sad. Because my mother had actually beat cancer, and then within 2 days, the others started in. This is what I want to understand, that not a single part of her body was not filled with cancer. She died in a month. And at some point there, she accepted her fate, but it was hard for my family. It shattered them all. It really did. And much of my family has been destroyed and has never been rebuilt. It really did. It devastated my family. And sometimes death does that to people because they lack understanding. That's really true. Because when you're still alive and that other person has passed away, that person's gone. There's no returning. They are gone. You're the one who's still alive. It's you who has to put your life together, not you have to deal with that death, and you have to. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people think I'm mean for saying this. But see, this is one of those reasons what I was trying to say about, like, why you why you do these things, why you want to change your life matters. Because if you're doing it for your mother or father, if you're doing it for some hero of yours, over anyone else other than yourself, eventually you're clinging onto something that you will lose. You will lose before you're dead. In other words, of course you're going to die. You're going to lose your life. But you can't be like that. People, well, that's selfish. No, actually it's not. It's not selfish for me to see my actions and believe in myself. That's not selfish. But it is slightly selfish when you think about it to try to save someone's life. And I don't mean 911. I don't mean that. I mean, though, too many times you see where someone will go get a treatment or something, and that person is suffering so bad during the treatment, begging for death because it's awful, and just so you can spend 5 more minutes with them. Did you ever bother to ask if that person wanted to spend 5 more minutes on this earth in pain? Because I bet you'll find out, very surprisingly so, that not everybody wants to live on this earth and just to be alive. And I'm sorry, but there is a such thing as quality of life. Me and Sophia have something worked out, if you guys really want to know, that there is a point in which if the treatment makes my quality of life worse than my actual life, then I will not be getting that treatment, and I will be saying goodbye to my friends. In other words, if I get a type of cancer or whatever it is, in which I know that this brain is gone, that I cannot work, that I cannot be Daryl. In other words, we just want you to no. You want me to be alive for your sake, even though I'm suffering. I consider that unimaginably selfish. You don't think about it like that, because I'm suffering, right? Now, if the person suffering wants to still be alive, okay, that's cool. But I can assure you, I do not want to die writhing. I do not want the cure, or I'm cured of such a thing, whatever it may be, and I'm less than I am now. It would be too frustrating for me if my wits aren't about me. I'm like that. Why? Why? So you can do what exactly? No, I won't do that. Miss Sophia, I already have that. That there's going to be a contract signed in which she will cut off the plug. Yeah, I'm not. This is why I'm alive, not my physical body. I'm alive because of my mind. And if I lose my mind, if I lose that, I don't want to be here. I'm outright telling you, and that's not a depressing thought. It's just my personal thing. And there's some people like that. And Sophia's father, he doesn't even want to know what's wrong with him. Because why? What benefit does it? He thinks he knows what it is. And if it's that, there's nothing he can do. He's tired of fighting. If you're tired of fighting, I think that's what happened to my grandfather. That he fought and fought and fought. Once you beat cancer 6 times, not everybody wants to beat cancer 6 times. And that's the part, like, you're not giving up on life. I just don't want to live life in pain. It's not about you, actually, in that case. It's not about what you think of my health. And I do have the choice. Unless, in this case, I trust one person on this planet to make the decision for me. And she knows she would honor my wishes. She knows I don't want to be less than. I've worked too hard for this mind. So if I lose this mind, like if I were to ever find out I have brain cancer or something anyway, and they know that getting chemotherapy would cause me to have problems with cognitive abilities, or cause me to not be able to do certain things that I love to do, it would be too psychologically hard for me to get over that, and I don't want to fight that. I've fought all my life already. Can I stop fighting now? Is there ever going to be a time in which I don't have to fight my ass off for everything? And that's like something me and Sophia talked about, especially since I did almost die 10 years ago, 11 years ago. You know, and I had a stroke in November. I'm not going to be around as long as you guys think I am. That's why I'm trying to do things right. But it sparked a conversation, the situation with Sophia. Her attitude about this is perfect. Her whole family's attitude about this is perfect. Most families don't have this attitude. Most families, they beg for mama or daddy or aunt or uncle, I don't want you to go, I don't want you to go. Well, it's not about you. Death isn't about the person not dying. It's about the person dying. And human beings forget that sometimes. And, you know, and there's, that's another thing. I think this is so cool. Me and we went for a ride. We went to Taco Bueno and we went and got because it's hot outside. We went and got a limeade, and we were having a conversation, and Sophia had a slight smile because, and I love this. This is how I want y'all to celebrate my death. Don't throw me a funeral. It's a celebration of life. It is. Her family's gonna. Her mom's already said it. He doesn't want a funeral. He wants a party. That's awesome, man. You guys think you could do that? Because that's the correct way to look at it. Her father's very accomplished. Neurologist. He has nothing to be ashamed of. It's not about how old you are. It's about what you've accomplished in his life. And he's accomplished a lot. He's a good doctor. But he's been in pain for a few years now. And he has fought. He's tired of it. So if he finds out that's what it is and that's what his problem is, and even if it doesn't, he's not fighting anymore. He doesn't want to do it, and neither will I. I don't care how old I am. I don't want that. I know what that is. I would never want it, unless it's like, I suppose, skin cancer or something. I know how bad my mom fought. I'm definitely not my mother. I'm not fighting like that. I've already fought my whole life. I'm tired of fighting. And so, you know, something so serious like that, I'm not going to fight it. I have no desire to fight it. That's not weak. That's just, I don't want to be on this planet anymore. There's a better place for me to be. And how selfish, I said this to Anna this morning. Because everybody's all worried about me here. They really are. Everybody's all worried about, Sophia's worried too. But I told, and I said, look, how selfish would it be for me to ask God to let me talk to my mom and have my mom for a little bit longer? So as I take her out of paradise, perfection, no pain. I'm a Christian, I'm sorry, that's what I believe in. So I take my mother out of paradise so that I can have some more cooking recipes. And I'm happy that my mom doesn't have to deal with that. I'm happy that my mom doesn't have to see some of the pain and suffering of this world. She did her job, and she did it well in a short amount of time. It's not like she lived forever. She lived till 46 years old. It's not about how old you are. It's about what you do with your life. Really. Death should not ever be a bad thing. It's only bad to the people. Part of this is it's only bad to the people that feel like they have things that left undone, which is why at the end of these videos and at the end of all of my videos, all of my lives, on all of my social media accounts, I say life is fleeting. You're not promised your next breath. You'll regret it forever, and you'll be the one suffering. That person is not suffering anymore. You are suffering now because you didn't deal with stuff. You didn't make up with that person. You didn't do this with that person. Do you miss them? Sure. So you miss a person so bad that you would bring them back from life so they can suffer here. People just, they love their families and they love them, they love their close relatives or their friends. And maybe they were such an inspiration, they missed their presence. Then learn from it and try to copy what they did. And that's how you're going to honor the person. You know? I don't want to bring my mom back. I want to use what my mom taught me to teach you guys before I breathe my last. But me being selfish enough to ask God, please let me have my mom back. Why? So I can have some of her recipes. It's just selfish. I guess if I had a wish, I'd say, can I hug my mom again? That's it. But then again, it ain't gonna change who I am now. I've done this without doing that. It's just thoughts for the day. I didn't want to go to go morbid. I wanted to be an understanding of just kind of a more positive way to look at things like this. Because I know a couple people right now that are dealing with deaths, recent deaths of very close relatives. And it's not easy. I know someone right now that misses their father very much. And tells me all the time that they miss their father. And I'm trying to tell this person, you got to move on. They got to mourn. I don't say much unless I'm spoken to. I don't speak until I'm spoken to on this subject, because people mourn their own way. Lori mourned her own way, but she just needed somebody to vent to. She would talk to me, and I would kind of give her little slivers of advice until she stopped mourning. But a couple of days ago, this has been a year later, she had a little moment in which she needed to talk to Daryl. And I will talk to her. Lori, I will talk to you. I was literally, Anna was over and she spent the night last night. Remember, I am working. But if you want to talk, Lori, we can do that. But I just want to give a different perspective on something this serious as this. A lot of people don't like to talk about death. That's the thing. It's very personal to them. And I'm one of them. I'm just now getting to the point where I can talk about this particular subject. But it's just something to think about, guys. It's not, I don't dictate to people, especially about this. This is you. That is definitely personal business. You will have to mourn your own way. I'm just here to his ears so you can talk about your uncle or your friend or your dad or your mother or your child. I know a couple of people who have lost their children. Not recently, but I know somebody who lost their child when they were young. When I was found out that my mother was going to have her life support turned off, I felt a huge emptiness, and knowing that I would never see her again. It hurt a lot. Yeah, that's right. It does hurt. And Denise, like I said, would you rather your mother be on life support? Life support. Really ask yourself this question. I know at the time, I get it. I understand. But think about this now, years later. Would you rather your mother just be breathing through a tube so you can feel better about yourself? Or have your mom pass on and have her pain taken away? You better consider that. And all y'all like that. I'm very understanding of what you're saying. You know, Denise is my girl, and she's had death in her family. She lost both her mother and father, and there's a possibility she could be losing some more relatives soon, specifically one. Hospital beds are not a peaceful way to go. It's for the person that's alive. Life support is not for the person you think you're trying to help. It's for you to keep on having that person around you. I find it's not wrong. There's no sin in it. But to consider life support on somebody, to think that they would ever consider that life. It's not life. They're breathing and they have a heartbeat. That's about it. You are stopping them from moving on to a place better than this. I find that it's understandable. It's not a sin like that. But I find it unbelievably selfish. Just my view. And I think that you're not allowing the person to have peace in their life. All because you can't deal with not having them around. And many people are like that. So, I'm going to get off here. Just something, just food for thought, guys. Excuse me. Just food for thought. I got shiny forehead going on. It's so hot outside, guys. But supposedly it's supposed to be cooler the next week and a half, 10 days. Be safe when you're traveling today, especially it's 4th of July in the United States. Do not drink and drive, man. Shame on you. Uber or Lyft. And if you're at the parks, just be careful when you're pulling out and, all sorts of nasty stuff. People think they can drive drunk on this day because it's America's birthday. Yeehaw! Let's drive drunk and kill everybody. Yeah! Celebrating America's birthday in jail. Yeah! Woo! Just saying. This is kind of silly. Don't be stupid. Be safe when you're traveling, though. Everybody's traveling, going and visiting relatives, and probably gonna go do fireworks tonight. It's too effing hot for me to do all that stuff, and I do still have to work, and I just can't do it. Don't worry. And it was funny at the other place before we moved to Plano, we got free fireworks. We're not used to going to fireworks, so kind of sucks a little bit, but it's okay. Excuse me. Be safe. Be understanding of one another, not just from your perspective, but from theirs. And that means completely from their perspective. Don't just partially understand and say, well, I kind of understand. Well, if you kind of understand, probably don't give them advice. Keep listening. Listen to them until you can understand. Observe and listen. That way you can help them better. Right? And definitely don't be judgmental. Right? You don't want to be judgmental. So, right? Just don't. Be understanding of yourself. You're not God. You can't be there for everybody all at the same time. You don't want to sit there and give all your money away to be broke just to say, I helped a homeless person. Yep, you're homeless now. You don't want to join the fray, right? So think about this. When you're helping somebody, you also don't want to get involved too deeply into depression, the mania, that kind of thing. Because you'll end up becoming depressed yourself, right? It's not just about money, not just about giving too much money. You can get involved in so much life and it affects your life too much. You have that break. You have to be able to think and contemplate on what you've observed about that person, so you can think about what you could do as a solution, if that's what you're doing, right? Remember, life is fleeting. You're not promised your next breath. I say again, you're not promised your next breath. I know this for a fact. So take now to kiss your son, to kiss your daughter, to kiss your husband, to kiss your wife, to kiss your mother, to kiss your father. I do this, the whole family. And definitely don't let the sun go down upon your anger, because you'll end up like me, where I didn't get to make up with my mother or my sister. Okay? Think about that. And I guess tomorrow. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. Tomorrow's Friday. So, till tomorrow, may the Lord of Light guide you in all things. Goodbye.